रेडी। डेज के नाम लिखेंगे सबसे पहले। आप सभी ध्यान दो एक बार डेज को लेके, वैसे क्लियर होगा सभी को, डिक्टेशन वालों को। ये कल जो बताए थे आपको ईयर्स को लेके बताया गया था, जो नहीं आए थे उनके लिए। अगर सपोज करो आपको लिखना है 2013, तो हमने क्या कर देना है, नीचे एक डैश लगा देना है। अगर 1813 होता तो ऊपर डैश लगाते, 1913 होगा तो इधर लगाएंगे, और 2113 होगा तो इधर लगाएंगे। इसके अलावा कोई भी सन आता है तो पूरा लिखा जाता है। लेकिन कई बार क्या हो जाता है कि 2020, 21 आ जाता है, या 2013, 14 आ जाता है, तो आपने डैश के साथ साथ एक लंबा डैश खींच देना आगे पैरेलली अपर स्लैश के साथ में, तो पड़ा जाएगा 2013, 14। ये अगर ऊपर लिखा हुआ है तो उसको पढ़ेंगे 18, 13, 14। अगर यहां टिक के साथ लिखा होता 19, 13, 14, ठीक है, दो बार लिखने की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है। अगर सेम कोई आ जाए 5 और 6, 20 और 30, 70 और 80, तो ऊपर नीचे लिख देते हैं। इसको पढ़ेंगे 5 और 6, इसको पढ़ेंगे 20 और 30, और लगाने की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, ऊपर नीचे लिख लो, उसी से पढ़ा जाता है। अब बात करते हैं मंडे की। तो मंडे क्या कराते हो आप, MN और D, मंडे। ट्यूसडे T, फिर G का सर्कल और D, ये लाइन को काटते बनेगा, ठीक, क्या बन जाएगा, ट्यूसडे। वेडनेसडे, थर्सडे, फ्राइडे, सैटरडे, संडे। इसी तरीके से आप क्या कर सकते हो, आप डेज के नाम बना सकते हो, सॉरी मंथ के नाम। जैसे आपने लिखना है जनवरी, J बनाएंगे और N, फरवरी F और B, मार्च MR और J, अप्रैल, मई, जून, जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर, MB की डबलिंग कर देंगे, अक्टूबर, K हाफ है और BR है, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, N और V नीचे इंटरनेट लगाना क्योंकि वरना नेवर हो जाएगा, नवंबर, दिसंबर, D और MB की डबलिंग कर दी सर्कल के साथ में, दिसंबर। देखो क्विकली लिखो, फिर डिक्टेशन स्टार्ट करते हैं। मंडे, ट्यूसडे, वेडनेसडे, थर्सडे, फ्राइडे, सैटरडे, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च, अप्रैल, मई, जून, जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर, अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर। ठीक है, लिखो, रेडी। पहले हाई पे लिखेंगे फिर लो पे लिखेंगे। Started. This question, sir, my humble opinion, should be viewed from a different angle from which it was looked at and discussed here yesterday. It is true that it is correct in principle that the railways whose entire capital at charge is drawn from the general revenues should be able to make a good contribution to the general revenues, but in applying this principle, care must be exercised. If we are looking at railway systems in advanced countries like the United Kingdom or the United States of America or any such country, this principle no doubt could be applied on all fours. But in a country like India, whether it could be applied is a question that should be considered. It was argued that the railways have a long history, and because they have long been an established concern, they should now be able to contribute to the general revenues. Although it is true that the railways are a long established concern, still the circumstances under which the railways were run are not being examined here. The railways, as we all know, before independence were run not on a welfare state basis, but they were run on the system of strategic lines. When the railway lines in India were formed, it was not the question of developing economic resources, it was not the question of linking up industrial centers, it was not the question of linking up the railway system with pilgrim centers or centers of density that prompted the authorities, the private companies to start the railways in India. But it was the strategic concern of the British government then that prompted these companies to form railways. The question of arriving at a correct pattern of railway system from the point of view of developing and exploiting the natural resources of the country from the point of view of developing the backward areas of the country. It is still there to be examined and to be attended to. Well, from this point of view, as anybody can see, there is much scope for developing the railways. In fact, there is so much pressure on Honorable the Railway Minister for new lines that one will be at a loss as to where to find the resources from. They have undertaken in the second part of the 5-year plan to construct new lines of 1500 kilometers in length. In order to have a perfect railway pattern to be able to exploit and make use of the natural resources of the country to the fullest extent, although we cannot dismantle the railway lines that we have now, still these lines have to be linked up to fulfill that requisite of exploiting the natural resources. So my point in bringing out these arguments is to show that the railways have a full development program on their hands and they need funds. They can no longer draw from the general revenues or the country. As the railway finance is separated from the general finance, they have to obtain the resources that are required for development either by loan or otherwise. There is the other need also to be examined in this connection, the need of passenger amenities both inside these houses of parliament as well as outside. It has been agitated that passenger amenities are required to be given in a larger and larger number. The second class passengers before independence did not get adequate amenities. In fact, the condition of bogies, the condition of the waiting rooms, the condition of catering facilities and the condition of housing, all these things need much attention. Although the railways have now taken up the amenities program and according to the recommendation of the convention committee, we are now earmarking rupees 3 crores per annum for this purpose. Still, I think it is totally inadequate. The railway administration has now recognized the fact that greater and greater passenger amenities are to be given, but they are not going on the right lines. I may make this statement clear by saying that they are not following proper lines with regard to the amenities that are to be given. I will take just one example and point out how they fall short of the requirements. Well, the question of providing waiting halls for second class passengers has been a much mooted question, and that naturally gets a top priority in the amenities program. Well, the so-called waiting halls that are now provided are like this. The halls are there. The exit gate from the platform opens into the hall, and the entry gate into the platform opens into the hall. So much so that in fact the hall is only a passage. When people come and go, how can the second class passengers take rest here? That is a question which I have not been able to understand. Secondly, for the passengers who have to wait for a number of hours in these halls, necessary sanitary facilities should be provided. Now, the sanitary arrangements may be inside the platforms where the waiting passengers cannot go, and if they go and commit nuisance outside, the policeman will be there to haul them up and prosecute them under the police regulations for committing nuisance. So, it is not imagined that when passengers are required to wait for 10 hours or 12 hours in these waiting halls, they should have some bathroom facilities as we have for first class or for higher class passengers. That thing has not been visualized. Even for our cattle sheds in our houses, we have doors and windows, but here for these second class waiting halls, there is neither a door nor a window nor an enclosure. This I say to draw the attention of the authorities to think of these amenities in their proper proportion. Their estimate of the requirements of funds for these amenities is an underestimate. The needs for increasing the amenities are large. 1000 वर्ड है, 100 की स्पीड थी, केसी सोर्स है, 92 नंबर है, लेस पे लिखेंगे, कम स्पीड पे, अगर अच्छी लिखी है तो टाइप कर सकते हो, नेक्स्ट कम पे लिखेंगे, फिर उसके बाद सीन का देखेंगे. रेडी? Start it. Madam Deputy Chairman, from the speeches which the Honorable Minister for Planning made in this House and in the other House, and from a perusal of the note which has been circulated to us regarding the progress that has been made in the 10th 5-year plan and the various statements of the government and the Planning Commission, I have a feeling that the government of India is trying to assuage the feeling of dissatisfaction in the country through promises of bright future, promises of better efforts, and general promise that everything is going to turn out all right and that there need not be any fear or anxiety in the country. Madam, while saying this, I realize that the country has made certain progress in the development of our economy during the last decade. Industrial production has increased, agricultural production has increased, the productive capacity has been built up, and we have also got employment opportunities being created. Above all, we have gained valuable experience in the development of our economy, especially in planning, and these are all to the credit side of the plan. Unfortunately, madam, the price that we have paid for this progress is rather heavy. The imbalances that we have created are likely to go out of control unless definite steps are taken to see that the imbalances are corrected at the earliest opportunity. The problem of the distribution of income that is generated as a result of the development efforts in the country is a perennial question and comes up again and again in one form or the other before this house, and though I realize that no definite opinion is possible unless we have got some authoritative data and analysis on the subject, there is clear indication of the fact that if not economic wealth, at least economic power is being concentrated in fewer and fewer hands. As long as economic power is concentrated in such few hands, it will not be possible for us to develop in the manner in which we like, whether maybe our regulatory and control apparatus, whatever may be our policy, whatever may be the objectives that we place before the country. Similarly, the imbalance between the rural and the urban sector is also increasing. I do not know whether in the rural areas some income has been pumped in as a result of our planned development. It is possible that the well-to-do peasants, the richer peasants, might have benefited as a result of our economic development, but as far as the rural area as a whole is concerned, the disparity and imbalance is definitely growing, and that is also a matter of concern. The very fact that urbanization takes place at such a rapid rate in our country is visible, proof that the imbalance has been growing, with the result that neither the urban areas nor the rural areas are today in a position to live the life that they were living before our planned developmental efforts started. Now, there is over congestion in the urban areas. The civil amenities are all on the point of breaking down, and they continuously break down with the slightest accident here or there. The slums are increasing at a rapid rate, and unemployment is increasing. Whatever may be the figures regarding crimes, etc., that may be published by the government, there is a definite impression in the country that the crime situation is also deteriorating. That is because of the congestion in the urban areas, because of the difficulties due to lack of resources. They are unable to deal with the problems that arise as a result of this overcongestion, and the problem of law and order becomes more acute as a result of this urbanization. Thirdly, the question of unemployment has also taken a rather serious turn, and when the government spokesman addresses homilies to others regarding the agitation against high prices and higher taxes, they completely forget that year by year one earner has to support more and more people, and we have got the authority of no less a person than the planning minister himself to say that the real income of the earner, at least in the lower income groups, has no risen, and in spite of that, that earner has to support a larger and larger number of dependents. इतने लिखूंगा भाई, बोलन जा रहा भाई। ये 740-30 के आसपास वर्ड है, 80 की स्पीड है, केसी सोर्स है, 45 नंबर है। स्पीकर रूम में जाएंगे, वहाँ पर लगाता हूँ मैं, ठीक है। अब रिकवरी में टाइम लगेगा।